Hello and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity. We're here joined by some cool guys, some special guests. We're going to talk about the latest episode of The Expanse, Season 5, Episode 4. I believe it's pronounced Gaugamela, something like that. It's funny because I watched an after show where they interviewed, or Ty Frank was sort of running the after show, and he said that he called it a very pretentious title that only 9 people out there would get the reference to. I looked it up online, and apparently it was a battle that Alexander the Great won when he was outnumbered 10 to 1. So I see what they're getting at with the reference, but I'm not going to disagree with him that it was a pretentious title. Anyway, so yes, joined here by a special guest. First joining me for the first time this week. Haven't seen you in a long time for doing one of these Expanse discussions. Don and Lucky joining us tonight.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, as you can see, me and my sidekick here. Watching The Expanse has been pretty good this season, and damn it, why are we only getting one more? But yeah, Mark, so glad to be here, and of course that guy right here, that a lot of people have seen me with. But and as you can see from the name, I was not too happy with the
Okay, so cool. Joining us in the chat, Colonel Doomsday. Good to see you. Colonel Doomsday was apparently one of the 9 people who got the reference. All right. Also joining me is Darrin from These Reviews. Great to see you again.
Glad to be back here, Mark. Yeah, and an exciting episode. Really, really stoked to get into this. Sometimes you have episodes that are set in the chess pieces. Sometimes you have episodes that are linking plot moments. And sometimes you have episodes where just everything happens and you're just riveted from beginning to end. And this was definitely one of those episodes. So, yeah, really excited about this week.
All right, cool. So let's start with some overall thoughts. I mean, Darrin kind of got into a little bit, but let's start on our overall thoughts on the episode. I'll start with my thoughts. I thought this episode was a huge disappointment. I'm starting to get really sick of the writing, and I'm starting to wonder if I should keep watching the show. Oh, wait a second. I thought we were talking about Discovery. Oh, no, that's right. We're not talking about Discovery. We're talking about The Expanse. Oh, yes, The Expanse. Fucking love this episode. It's definitely one of the best episodes of the entire show. Absolutely blew me away, and I was kind of a smug book reader because I was just, can't wait till they see this episode because I knew it was freaking coming. And in fact, I was kind of predicting would it be episode 3 or 4, so I was kind of one of those guesses was right. It was episode 4, but goddamn, I was waiting 5 years to see this on screen. I was just like, it's so awesome. And the way they did it was just so amazing. Anyway, Don, actually, we'll start with you on your thoughts on the episode.
Well, a lot of surprises. Look, me not being a book reader, there was a lot of stuff here. It was like, oh, damn. No, you did no. And then at the end, it was like, God damn you, Marco. God damn you all to hell. Yeah. So, and as you can see, like I said, there's a certain faction that I am just absolutely unhappy with at the end of this episode. So, yeah, Darrin, please put a like
that. Yeah, obviously, as I let out in the opener here, really did enjoy this episode. I love the small little bits of stories. I love the little switch off. I know, like last week, I had said, wow, I can't wait for Amos to connect back with Avasarala and do this. And now I'm like, no, I am totally in on where they're going with that. I love the reactions that we got off of people. I love how the episode built off of each kind of impact and response. And so we were learning the story as the characters were learning. It was just again, it was a really well put together episode. And again, it really carried the tension so much nicely. You didn't know when the next rock was going to hit. It was Avasarala going to connect in with Gao? Were they going to listen to her? Was it going to catch things in time? I mean, throughout the episode, it was just, and then we get to our final culmination where Marco drops his big, message bomb upon the system. And it really upends everything. So, I mean, it's just an amazing switch of power positions within all of the factions. Obviously, our opinion of many of the factions are being adjusted now. And a lot of questions are just, how are we going to respond? How is Earth going to respond? How fractured is it going to be? What's going to happen to all of our characters? Like I said, really, by the end of this, I was like, now I don't want them going week to week. I want to see what happens next now. But I also love the tension we get to hold with that. So really, really just an awesome episode. And I will try to avoid Discovery, I guess, for a while.
Well, Alyssa in the chat apparently disagrees with me on Discovery, but as she's mentioned, that's a discussion for another time. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the episode. Let's start with the Bobby Draper and Alex Kamal on their way following these Martian ships. And I love it. To me, this was a great way to kick off this episode. It was a nice, conversation that really gets into the character and how all the big shit that's happening affects everyone, and how Alex is in this sort of state of shock, which the rest of the audience is for the rest of the episode, where he's just he can't believe that he lived his entire life for an organization that is now pretty much gone to shit and is resorting to this kind of things. And there's another thing that happens in the scene, which I think they kind of glossed over it. And I think it kind of got lost in the shuffle with everyone else that happened, everything else that happened in this episode. But they mentioned, I believe it was this scene, they mentioned that at the same time the first rock was dropped on Earth, the Mars Parliament was bombed at the same time. So it sort of expands the whole attacks was really sort of coordinated. And so to see their shock when they learn about this, when they're out sort of chasing what's going on, but they had that sort of conversation, how Draper is just at one point you just get sick of grieving and you just got to move on. So anyway, Darrin, I'll start with you. What were some of your thoughts on this scene?
Honestly, this had one of the best moments within the episode, and that was simply the switch of the Razorback to the Screaming Firehawk. I loved it. I had to actually rewind and catch it because they put the titles up of the ship, and then I'm like, wait, out of the corner of my eye, did I just see that change? Is that so? Especially from a fan standpoint, that's kind of an awesome thing. Obviously, what Alex thought of calling the Rossi initially makes sense with the Razor Hawk, that he gets to have that. It's really cool. You're right. This is again just a little kind of character adjustment. We don't get a whole lot of action going on. I did like Bobby's story because it's the exhaustion of you're just going to run out of it, and eventually you're going to want to be doing something productive. You're going to want to be in it and doing something you feel good about. So might as well just start the wheels churning now. You'll feel better about it later. That they did touch on the Mars Parliament, and that was something we didn't hear anything else about until kind of Marco's speech at the end. We know that Earth got hit multiple times. We don't know, was that the only hit that Mars got? Were there multiple hits? It seemed Marco implied that, but I'm kind of curious, and maybe that's another little bit that we'll discover out throughout the season. And I love how it still deals with, we're following the Admiral, and now with the course change, is this going to do a meet, or is this because he just heard about Mars Parliament getting hit, and this is a tactical maneuver and adjustment? So I like the fact that we're still left in limbo with them, but it's how we, get the Bobby speech is how we start to deal with these losses and large changes that obviously not only the characters but the storyline and everyone else is going through.
I want to say more, but I gotta bite my tongue for spoilers. So I'll just move it over, kick it over to Don. Don, what are some of your thoughts on this episode?
Well, anytime Bobby is on screen, it's a good time for me. But yeah, look, I love the story about her, with the rat and her, basically saying like, look, yes, you're going to grieve, but at some point, the grief is going to be done, and then what are you going to do? You can't just always, be in the grieving mode. You have to, put that aside and remember that life goes on, and think about what you're going to do from there. So, and look, me, I've got, my 2 cats, even though you only ever see one nowadays, but one of them is older, right? And at some point, I'm going to wake up and that cat is going to be panting, and I'm going to have to deal with the fact that I'm going to have to, let her go. And that is, what we as human beings have to live with, is the fact that, things are finite. But even though things are finite, time still moves forward, life still goes on, and we have to be prepared to move forward, accordingly. So, that was something that Alex wasn't necessarily prepared for, but I think him hearing that from Bobby kind of eased him into what's going to, what's going to, be happening going forward. And yeah, I mean, listen, obviously things went haywire. We really didn't get to see Bobby's reaction to what was going on. We mostly saw it from Alex, and then that was kind of the end of it. So, hoping they pick back up next week with what they're going through, and will Bobby still have that same kind of resolve that she had in this episode, finding out what happened to Mars?
Damn it, Don, you're making me sad now thinking about my old cat dying. Thanks a lot. Just kidding. That's all good. Yeah, but yeah, no, that was that. Yeah, absolutely agree. I think the scene dealt with grief, just the shock of everything perfectly. And yeah, you're right. I wonder how they will react, and things are only going to get worse from here. Cool. So let's go ahead and move over and talk about Amos, your favorite one, Darrin, where we find out who, in fact, that Amos wanted to visit. We find out it's Clarissa Mao, as we see him go deep underground in this penitentiary, where apparently is filled with badasses who have like that kind of military grade modification, the same kind that Clarissa has, but hers is so bad that apparently if they take it out, she dies. And she is like kind of giving up all hope, and she's like on these blockers that make life for her miserable, but there's really nothing she can do. And I think I mentioned this in my review. I think the show actually handled this better than the books did. I think it made more sense of why Amos wanted to see her, that he felt like, especially after revisiting his old life, he sees how much of redemption that he had and how much better his life is, and how horrible a person he was, that there was still redemption for him. And he kind of wishes he could do the same thing for Clarissa, but she's insistent that he can't. And then the scene kind of ends ominously, and we don't follow up in these two for the rest of the episode. So only left to speculate. I know Darrin and Alyssa are doing some speculating on what Amos will have to do to get out of this. But Darrin, we'll start with you. What are some of your thoughts on this? And were you surprised at all that Clarissa was the one that Amos went to see?
I was really curious who was going in, and obviously they set it up as very, ominous with all of the rules that you have to and stay on the line, and you can't have anything with this much amount of metal on, and very, very much like you're going into the depths of it. Even the name of it, which I had written down, but I don't have that note with me right now. Everything was all just sort of very ominous. And the fact that he goes in and it opens up and it's like, and there's Clarissa. Whereas I was thinking, Melba. Oh, okay. I still remember her from her alias. It did totally make sense. It was a big question of like, who tension is this? Some connect? Is this somebody from his days back in Baltimore? Is this, the real Amos Burton, who's now under a different name, or, some other kind of crazy bit. But this did make a whole lot more sense. Once they started talking and he connected, like he said, he sees that he might be able to be a bridge to someone else. And I'm personally a sucker for good redemption arcs. And while she did some bad things, at the end, she sort of saw the error of her ways and she tried to turn things around, even sacrifice in order to do the right thing. So the fact that they might now be teaming up for some video game kung fu master storyline where they're going up level after level, little mini boss on each level going on until the final mission against the giant military attack helicopter. I don't know if they're going to go quite that far. But I'm excited about that idea. And obviously we saw prisoners being introduced. Who is it? Sin? I can't remember which particular one that was augmented, and he wanted to keep his augments in and he'd rather be down here in the dark. Obviously, he's introduced because he's going to be a main character we're going to be running into going forward, which kind of excites me. Again, if the two of them might team up and maybe even save some guards, let her do a redemption. Maybe, I don't know, earn a pardon, or at least, hey, Clarissa died in that prison. You're now so-and-so and going off. So I'm excited for that.
They don't drop information about, oh, this is this guy, and they don't say that, and then we never see him again. Like, that's definitely introduced him for a reason. Now, Don, I remember from our season 3 discussions that you loathed Clarissa and thought there was zero chance of redemption for her. Do you still feel that way?
I mean, listen, I think that they purposely set it up with Amos, and especially seeing what Amos has been through and him going back to Baltimore to try to see about his, is that his mom or like a foster mom? Foster mom.
Yeah, it's a foster mom, someone who raised him. Yeah.
Okay, so him going back to check on her and just trying to make amends as much as he could. It's one of those things where it's like, all right, well, yeah, we see what it is. I mean, look, yes, I hated Clarissa Mal, right, because she knew her father was dirty. And she went and wanted to still do evil in his name anyway. Seeing her in the cell, she looked very pathetic, very sympathetic, where it's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm on blockers. I get my half hour in the sun. They feed me through a hole. They slide the food under the door, and oh well, it's bad having the implant in, but if I take the implant out, I might as well be dead. So, I'm only Yeah, okay, goddammit, alright? Shit. We get it, okay? You're fucking miserable now. Alright, but you know what? She killed innocent people. She tried to frame the crew of the Rossi. You know, I don't know. There's a lot to be done here in order for her to gain any sort of redemption in my eyes. All right, you know, as far as I'm concerned, they should have fucking put her down before. All right, yeah, you know, look, equal rights deserve equal lefts. So yeah, she should have put a bullet to the head seasons ago.
You know, Don, I hate it when you hold back like that. I really wish you just feel free to express yourself. But hey, that's fair, and all very valid points. I don't argue in it. She definitely has an uphill, but like I said, I'm a sucker for redemption arc.
It's really hard words, Don. Really hard words. but if you kind of, if to be honest, if you didn't take this stance, then I would kind of call you out for being a bit hypocritical. So at least you're staying consistent. So there we go. All right. So next, say so in the chat, I believe. Hold on, I lost the chat for a second. Bring it back up again. Yeah, we have Mike DiCarlo joining us. Thanks so much for joining, stating that can't get enough of expansion talk and expanse talk, and absolutely agree totally. And that you're getting the first 3 books for Christmas. Yeah, that is a great Christmas present, and I have to keep trying to convince these people here they need to do the same, especially that 3rd book, which is my favorite. But anyway, cool. So let's go ahead and move on to these asteroids, these rocks that are falling on Earth. I think I don't know. Some people who read the books thought that maybe the damage caused by these rocks aren't going to be as big in the show as they were in the books, but I think they are. I think that they just haven't really got into just how devastating this is, because scientists pretty much say, like, if an asteroid that big falls on Earth, it's going to cause all sorts of havoc. It's not just for the area it falls on, but it's going to be terrible. And we had not 1, not 2, but 3 giant rocks fall on Earth. So this is a game changer, absolutely. And we see this through Avasarala's perspective, and this is something they totally changed from the books because she wasn't really in the books. Where we see from her perspective, where she knows what's going to happen as soon as the first rock hits. She's like trying to warn everyone, but she's been blackballed. These people. I thought maybe this is the one part of the episode I thought was a bit of a stretch, that they wouldn't even listen to her, that she couldn't even send a text message maybe to everyone. Hey, you fucking idiots, Marker Norris is going to throw another rock at us. But it is kind of cool how she eventually gets the chef to sneak in the phone with her image to finally warn. And Nancy Gal, to her credit, finally, once she sees the evidence, she steps up and she's like, okay, we'll do what we can. Let's have the watchtower. But she's too late because boom, another rock falls. Now, this is what I get your opinion on, because when I saw the scene and the aftermath to the scene that followed, to me, I thought it was very, very clear that everyone on that fucking plane is dead. Nancy Gal, her entire cabinet, everyone dead and gone. But there was a couple comments on my video, and I've seen some other stuff on the internet where they're questioning. I heard someone brought out the old adage, it's like, oh, if you don't see a dead body on TV, then it's not confirmed. I'm like, no. To me, this is pretty damn well confirmed. There was all that freaking, like, there was such great special effects to that rock, like, exploding right by the plane, and the plane goes, yeah, they're all dead. I'm pretty damn sure of that. But anyway, Darrin, what are some of your thoughts on this scene?
Sorry. Yeah, they're dead. I mean, yes, technically you don't see a body, and they could do the kind of, armored aircraft special presidential goof ball that went over and did the thing like Demolition Man kind of enclosed the. Now, once you see that shot with the wings sheared off and the tumble and everything blacks out, yeah, that is the universal they're gone sign, which again is going to keep the, and they even set this up, who's going to be in charge. Obviously as audience, we're like, well, Avasarala, this is where you step in because you knew what was going on. And you have a military advisor who is very much wants to have your back completely now. So yeah, they're definitely that. And I'm really excited about, again, where she is going to go with this. Even more so, I kind of like the tension built up with this, where she's kind of lost her way. She doesn't know I don't know what we're going to do. Are we going to wait? Are we going to see anything? And she gets led into the bar, conference room, lunch area, wherever that is, to see everybody kind of bonding together. And then the notice that the Watchtower picked up the next rock, and that we get to see everything in and everybody coming in. It's a perfect point, especially at that point in the episode, to give our hope that shift. And I like how it's sort of, Avasarala is kind of in a way in the center of that, is her remedy for her feeling of loss is seeing how everybody else is bolstered by the fact that it's turning around now. And I kind of loved how that was sort of brought in through the end. But yeah, the whole scene of her trying to get the message out and going to the chef. I'm just a chef on top. I know who the hell you are. You fed me up with all of your cookies and everything. You're going to do what obviously that's Avasarala pushing all the buttons to the point when it needs to. And that's what makes her a great character. It was just, I loved how they carried the tension and the shock in all of these scenes. Don, what did you think about all this?
Yeah, so Madam shut the fuck up. Listen, she was right. She was right. They didn't want to listen to her, and now they're, the whole fucking cabinet is dead. Listen, she's done some brilliant political maneuvering. Last season, she got outmaneuvered. And now it's like, all right, well, look, who are you going to put in charge? The person who should have been in charge anyway is now most likely going to be back in. And it's crazy. Like Mark, you were saying, it kind of seemed a little ridiculous that she wasn't even able to get a text message through. But hey, look, you know what? In what is that, 22nd century that they're in? Who knows? Maybe at that point, text, like blocking has become so good. It's like, hey, you put in the name. It's like, no, oh god damn it, I can't even send a message, you motherfucker. All right, fine. So I think she, played it the best way she possibly could. She tried to save lives, and that's what you get for excuse me, that's what you get for trying to blackball people. You get your wings clipped.
See, that's the thing. I could buy, like what you said with the technology, that they could block her entirely. I don't buy that they would do it. It doesn't seem their reasons for doing this is strong enough, because she's still a member of their government, regardless if they don't like her. But I don't know.
Well, and she's, and a good one. Outside of losing the election, she has made, and the one call, on Ellis last season, she has made a lot of the right calls. She's been in a lot of the right places. She has pushed constantly for support of of Earth. So yeah, even if you don't like her, you disagree with her, you don't not listen to her.
Yeah. When she lost the election, it's not like she refused to accept the results and refused to leave the place and threatened to use military to stay in power.
Yeah. It's a totally different set of circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but listen, at the end of the day, the person who was in charge really, really does not like her, and in fact sent her to the fucking moon. It's like, all right, I don't like you so much that I'm sending you off to the moon.
Sure. Well, I mean, and they did try to play up the pettiness that Gao was sort of showing to her with sending her to the moon and not even really listening to her during, meetings and stuff like that. Well, I don't know, that she turns around and then thanks her so much is an odd kind of switch the character. I mean, I would get that it's a political move and she would be smart to do that, but
the thing is, when it came down to it, Gal was willing to look past her political thing and said that this you just saved millions of lives. She's like willing to listen to her when she saw that it was what needed to be done. And Avasarala is like, yeah, saving lives is what matters. So I get the impression it was more of her staff and the people around her that were preventing, because as soon as she saw the thing with Avasarala, and she's like, no, let her speak. Whereas the people her staff was like, no, get rid of this thing. So I think it was the people around her who were mainly blocking Avasarala from speaking to her.
Sure.
It was probably kind of, okay, we already know you don't like her, and since we don't want you to be pissed off at us for allowing her to even get through, no, get rid of it. It's like, oh, no, stop, because, yeah, this is actually important today.
Sure. See that, and that makes sense. That does sort of make sense. Though I love your advanced, blocking ban. The ban Twitter bans on all things: phones, Twitter, Facebook. If they ever appear on television, it just puts a big block over their face.
And welcome to Dan Paul in the chat. Good to see you joining. Yeah, those joining on Christmas Eve, and this is sort of the holiday time, but. Yeah, that's why I was running a bit late. God, I thought I had another point about this. So what'd you guys think of the asteroids hitting Earth? Like, did that? I mean, I know at the end of the episode we saw one hit, but was it shocking? Was it surprising that we saw more hit? And it looks like there's a lot of fucking damage done. Yeah, Don, did you have any thoughts on that part of it?
Yeah, because you know what? At the end of last season, we only saw the one rock that Marco threw, right? Marco or Marcos?
It's Marco and Naros. Yeah.
Yeah, because they always say the damn names together, so it goes kind of all close. Yeah, so we only saw the one asteroid at the end of last season. But then at the beginning of this season, we see, one broke up. And Avasarala was right. It was like, yeah, okay, do you really think he just threw one? So, when the first one hits at the end of last episode, it's like, ooh, okay, could there be more? It's like, damn, has he, he's really just going around the belt and just launching fucking intergalactic missiles right now, and who knows if there could even still be more. And had they actually taken the time to listen to Avasarala, perhaps they could have prevented at least the last two from dropping. But too much petty political infighting. And now we have massive destruction. I mean, imagine the tsunamis that were probably caused, and the amount of debris jettisoned into the atmosphere. I mean, Earth is going to be fucked for a little while. Especially, it was already bad enough with one. And now you got three, and it seems like all three of them have hit America. At least, I mean, that's what it seemed like. But
no, the first one was off the coast of Africa. The second one was off the coast of America, and the third one, I believe, was like in Southeast Asia, was where Nancy Gal was.
Okay,
yeah.
So
yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, Oh, I mean, like the whole world. Look at that. That's three major plot points on the map. You know, they're basically, yeah. I mean, you hit both hemispheres, and you hit, one place in between. You know, you got to figure you got East Coast America, you got Africa, and you got Asia. Basically, you covered practically the whole world with three asteroids. So, yeah, yeah, Marco Inaros, major victory. But goddamn you belters, fucking assholes. Oh my god.
Yeah, I thought they actually did a nice job with last episode when they brought the scientist in to guesstimate of what size of an impact these would make, just to sort of let us know from an audience standpoint of how messed up stuff it was. With the broken up asteroid, they were talking about what in the kiloton range, altogether maybe a couple of megatons. While that is horrible and is certainly greater than, say, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, it's not as bad as what like our current nuclear capacity could do when you have like 30, 40 megaton nuclear payloads and such like that. Plus, you don't have to deal with radiation. So at least there's a little blessing versus a nuclear hit in that sense. But I love the impacts. I mean, I loved how they were shown. I loved the bit that, we get the one shot from above, one that we get the Amos is just the fact how much they've talked and how far underneath they are, and that you see the ceiling crack just gives you that idea of what just happened. The Gal one was awesome because you got to have someone sort of in the middle of it. So I love how you get these different perceptions, a peripheral, in the middle of it, but protected. Of the radio, we just hear about what happened to Mars. So I love how they kind of use their effects budget wisely, but let reactions give tension as well. Do it smartly. Let us see things when we want to, but you don't have to show everything. You can tell some stuff, and we'll buy it. But yeah, I mean, I thought those were all great, and I love that. Like I said, they sort of gave us an idea to say it's bad, but it's not like horrible bad. But heck, man, on a planet that's 3/4 water and you hit land all three shots, good job, man. That's amazing. Oh no, the first one was off the coast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I think the second one was off the coast of Philadelphia too. I think.
No. It was actually northeast of Philadelphia.
I thought.
Or northwest. It was land.
I thought it was water. Okay. All right.
No, it hit land.
But yeah, you're right. The first one was definitely water because they were talking tsunami hits, and then that one, yeah, I thought was just inland. Okay, well then forget you, Marco. You suck. You can't hit anything except planets from far away.
I think he did a pretty good job.
But didn't they mention that he was well, not Rockhopper, the pilots that do all the shooting around the planets and such.
The slingshotters.
The slingshotters. Didn't they mention here that Marco was a slingshot pilot?
Oh, did they? Okay, I might have missed that.
Right.
They might have mentioned that, yeah.
And that might have been why she was like, so he knows how to swing things around and use, gravity and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. Definitely. Now, they didn't mention it in the show because I was keeping an eye out of where the prison was, but in the books, it was in North Carolina. So if they stayed true to the show, then yeah, that's it's actually quite far away from the blast, but yet it still cracked the ground like that. Right. It really says something.
Oh, Cardinal Doomsday is agreeing with me that they did in fact say that. So, okay, very cool.
They did say what? That it was inland? No.
No, slingshot pilot.
The slingshot pilot.
Slingshot pilot thing. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I mentioned something I remember something similar like that going down. Now, there was some talk in the chat about the fourth asteroid that, yes, they did destroy it because they finally, a bit too late, used the watchtower that's capable of detecting stealth technology, and they hooked it up to the asteroid spotters so they could see through the stealth technology and see the asteroids coming. So it does look like no more asteroids will hit because they now have that stopgap in motion and now have that in place, where this is what Alpha Sorella wanted to do in the first place before the first asteroid hit, but they were like, no, you're being ridiculous, this is a waste of time. And then the first asteroid hit and she's like, now we need to do it, and they were still blackballing her, but then the second one hit and Nancy's like, yes, you're absolutely, let's do it. But then the third one hit before they could have time to do it. So, but at least they got the fourth one. And also speculation of where it would have hit. Now, I personally thought when I saw the scene of that asteroid headed towards Earth, I thought it was over South America, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. Doesn't matter because they broke it up anyway. Yeah, so that was all pretty damn. Dan Pop says, I heard the prison was in the Chesapeake. Oh, really? Did you hear that in the show? Because I might have missed that because I was looking for information of where it was. So if it was in the Chesapeake, then it would have been close to where Amos was in Baltimore. Well, we'll see. Maybe they'll mention that later. Not sure. So anyway, yeah, so I hear some people in the chat are someone specifically has it was 40 miles northwest of Philadelphia. Northwest. Okay, so that would have been inland then. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about Holden. So a few people in the chat are already saying R.I.P. Fred Johnson. That is something I didn't necessarily see coming because in the books it happened at a later time, so they had moved it up a bit. I actually predicted this might be the case because I thought maybe the actor wanted to move on. I don't know if that is why they did it, but I kind of thought, they're probably going to move his death up this season and do it with this attack, and they did. But it was still super intense. And yeah, Darrin, last week when we had our discussion, I had to hold my tongue where you thought that Bull was the spy, and I was like, no, it's Sakai. That's why as soon as I mentioned, that's why I kind of mentioned that, this is a character I know from the books, because as soon as I knew that name was assigned to that character, she was the traitor. I was like, so you're the traitor. And goddamn, I hate this person. I just want them to kill him badly. Like Don, you were saying what you want about Marco or about Clarissa, but God, this woman's so annoying. What you gonna do now? It's gone. Bye. I'm just like, somebody kill her. Like somebody kill her very badly. But goddamn, like this whole scene was amazing. It was super intense. Again, this is one of the smug book readers. Like I couldn't wait for this scene, and they did it even better by having that weird mechanical spider type thingy just come in and go and just knock people over, take the proto molecule, and then promptly fuck off. Like that was super intense. And I really think like I would describe what it does to Holden as bitch slapping him, because it seems like Holden's like sitting there trying to pry it, and it looks like it's destroyed. It's like, I'm done, and all of a sudden it's like, no, fuck off. Knocks him over and just takes off. Oh my God, like that whole thing had me on the edge of my seat. And yeah, Fred Johnson's dead. Wow. Anyway, Don, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on this whole thing.
Fucking melters. Can't trust a single one of them. Weird talking bunch of bastards. Yeah, listen. It was one of those things where Holden was the first person to figure out, because I mean he always is. He was like, something's wrong here. Wait, abort! Get the hell out of the crate! And you see the missile come. I'm like, still don't know whether or not those guys actually survived, because they were too far away, so we couldn't see whether or not they survived the missile launch.
No, they did survive because they showed Bull in a later scene.
Okay. Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
When Marco was making
Yeah.
his speech. Yeah. So I'm like, damn. And then like when you see this girl kind of step back, she's got a little freaking iPad there. She steps off, and I'm like, what is this about? Wait, bang, bang, bang. Like, you motherfucker! What the fuck? What the? No! Why? Why? Fred is out here trying to do the right thing for the belt, and you go and fucking kill him. Why? It's one of those things where like, why is it always the person who is trying to do the most peaceful thing that gets gunned down? And no, Fred was not a perfect man by any stretch of the imagination. He could be a dick sometimes, and he really should have gotten rid. He should have gotten rid of the photo molecule, because maybe this wouldn't have happened to him if he didn't have it. But at the end of the day, he was like, "Hey, look, we're trying to be strong, improve our independence from Mars and Earth, and this is the way that we can do it strategically, to where we're not actively threatening anybody, but they know, like, hey, don't fuck with us." And instead of people getting on board with that, no, want to be a bunch of weird talking fucking weirdos following the fucking terrorist dude who's, yes, I'm going to throw rocks at your planet and cover them in stealth check. Like, yes, and this is the way we get our freedom. Like, dude, seriously? Yeah, because no one's ever gonna be like, all right, you know what? Revenge. No one's ever gonna think, yeah, oh yeah, you fucking blew our planet to bits, and we're just gonna take that, and you're like, oh, sorry, we're not worthy, belters. We are so sorry. We should talk like you now. Yes. Tell them we had no education like you now, baptized. Fuck off. Yeah, man. I just when you have someone who is trying to come to the table as an equal, and then you have some asshole who's just like, nope, we knock off all the fucking chess pieces off the table. It's like, yes, my game now. Like, no, I just it's so fucking frustrating. I mean, but the writing is so good.
Cool. So I got to jump in here because I got a couple super chats in the chat. Thank you so much. We got Edward Badeau for $2. Thank you so much. Edward Badeau says, so did that robot do a pimp slap on Holden? And the answer is yes, most certainly did. and also Cardinal Doomsday, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Very much welcome. So anyway, Darrin, what's your thoughts on this whole thing?
Yeah, definitely some unexpected twists, holding on top of things as usual. When something doesn't look right, that little red light in his head goes off, and saving Bulls. I'm my apologies to Bull. I suspected you wrong. The fact that it was Sakai is honestly, to me, a great twist, because this is a character that obviously connected with Naomi, so we liked her, and she uses that like to achieve her ends. And from a tactical standpoint, beautiful. As soon as she stepped back, she screwed up all of the connections. She did whatever damage to their communications. If there was any defensive systems, there was any activities, those have all been shut down. They attacked the was it the reactor to draw all of the security and everyone off of there, so that kept all of the focus on?
They tried to destroy Tycho Station.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the plan, to destroy the reactor, but they got enough response to stop them, but that distracted everyone from they could take off with the protomolecule.
Right. So, I mean, again, a successful way. And to what you were talking about, Don, it is kind of interesting that what Fred Johnson was trying to achieve is, in a way, what Marco just did achieve in a more brutal, efficient manner, in a way. You know, doing it the hard way or doing it right is more difficult than doing it, quick and messy and easy. So it was just kind of an interesting, as Marco is talking about a united belt that is in control and doesn't have to subserve to the inners and all of that. Just instead of hey, we have this, we could use it, he's saying, okay, I'm going to pimp slap you around with a few rocks and then hold this over your head of what I have. Holden, again, always right with his warning. Wherever the protomolecule goes, death follows. Get rid of it. You should have gotten rid of it. You're right, Mark. That would have saved Fred Johnson's life. There would have been no need to attack Tycho Station, except possibly as he represents, but there certainly wouldn't be a need to sort of take out Fred Johnson that way. And again, tension-wise, yeah. You hate Sakai now. You want her to go. She goes from likable to Joker minion crazy, which was kind of a fun little twist of her just ranting, it's all over now, no stopping now, ha ha. It's like, oh god, they're insane. But I like the character. I mean, I'm still intrigued. I liked her and I hate her now, and therefore the actor is doing their job, keeping me in it. Like you said, Don, the writing is so good.
I can't decide if she was more annoying in this show or in Star Trek Discovery.
She's not going dilly dilly every time I see her. That's what I hear. So she hasn't done that. So she's just this side of just.
She was in like an episode or two. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, another super chat in the chat. Thanks so much for Edward Badeau. Says Miller would have figured this out in 1 hour, which is absolutely correct. That is dead on. This never would have happened if Miller was on the case. But too bad he's not still around. So in the scene, there's where Sakai sort of broke in and held a gun at Monica Stewart, and the friend's going to shoot her. And like, no, let's keep her alive and take her with us. And she's like, what do you want with me? And she's like, well, it's not me that wants you. So any thoughts on who it is that did want Monica Stewart and why? Why would they want Monica Stewart and who would want her?
Well, I mean, Marco's kind of calling the big shots. They seem to all be connected. So I would have to sort of think that Marco might want, and possibly because of her connections with media, her storytelling bits. I mean, I don't know. He's kind of got all the connections he needs right now. So I don't know what he would want off of that, unless maybe he wants her to come and tell his story from a documentary standpoint. I want you to tell my story and show everyone what a great guy I am and how righteous my cause is. That would be my only guess. Don, you got a thought on who's after Monica?
Yeah, you tell Holden's story. You tell my story to Inners and show Inners that Belta superior. Fucking, oh my god! Yeah, I'm gonna go with Marco. Yeah, because I mean, listen, they're all taking orders from him now anyway. Bunch of damn lackeys. Yeah. He's like, look at Marco. Marco had good hair, so we follow Marco because he has long, nice curly locks, and we all want curly locks like Marco and Arnold's. So we follow him. We all belt off for life. Yeah, So we kidnapped journalist lady. She make documentary about Rocinante, and now she make documentary about Belta. Belter. Yeah, man.
Mike DeCarlo in the chat says maybe Anderson Dawes, but I think that's a bit of a stretch because Dawes is kind of Fred Johnson's ally at this point. Or is he? I don't know, but he got Cultizar stolen away from him too, so he's also attacked by Marco, or was he? Anyway, so I don't know, but I'm still more leaning towards that it was not Dawes, but
yeah, it doesn't seem like he would have to go this way. He was working enough. He already had that connections. He wouldn't have to. It wouldn't be to his advantage to go this far. I don't think. I don't know. I actually did have a little note I wanted to mention. I love, they showed this in last week's episodes too. I love the Tycho station, how there is no top or bottom. Everything is bottom. They got people like sitting on this deck as people are walking across this deck. It's just a really cool thing to kind of keep in mind in space, especially with those magnetic boots. Up, down is not really the same kind of thing.
So Mike DeCarlo in the chat says, what was the button that Fred pressed right before being shot? Or no, it was right after being shot. I was wondering the same thing, actually. I didn't know what that was.
That was the compartment where the proto-molecule was stored. It was trying to eject it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it failed.
So now because he was telling Holden to stop them from getting the proto-molecule.
Yeah. So he was basically, I don't know if he had some sort of thing where he would fly it somewhere else. Like if it was supposed to, fly to like a predetermined destination or something like that. But it definitely, it said eject on there, and then when you press the button, it said fail.
Oh, did it? Okay, I didn't notice that. All right, that makes sense.
Because he was shot by a stupid Belter. A Belter who don't know how to.
Give me 1 sec.
All right.
Belters. Yeah, man. Oh my God. And it's not even just specifically that they killed Fred Johnson, but it was like, come on, man. Like, that there is no way this can end up where, you guys do this and you have these two, the superpowers of the of your whole triad there, and would think that they're not going to team up now and find a way to get revenge. Like you threw, so you threw some rocks at us, you bombed the parliament, and we have the proto molecule. We have proto molecule now, so we the fuck out of here. Like the guys from Star Trek, the ones that steal everybody's technology, that they showed them in Lower Decks recently.
Oh, the Packlids?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's what remind me of the fucking Packlids. You Enterprise? We have another Enterprise. This is the Rossi? Another Rossi.
They like things that make them go.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let's go ahead and move over to let's get into Naomi and her being sort of carted off to Marco by her son Philip. And I like how she assumed it was him. She was bad talking Marco. It's like, I never wanted to see you again. Why'd you force me here? It's like, oh, it wasn't me. That was Philip. The little boy needs his mommy, which was kind of like a little dig at him, kind of shows kind of relationship he has with Philip. But then, of course, he, congratulates Philip for his role in genocide, basically. Way to go, Philip. Thanks for helping me kill millions of people. And then, yeah, that scene at the end where they cart Naomi off into her room and she's screaming, open the fucking door. Like, that was intense. That was blood curdling. Like, that I think was some great acting. And it was super intense to see her because she had no idea any of this was coming. She was just looking for her son. And again, I re-emphasized the mistake she made by going off by herself. And she's kind of paying the price for that and realizing that it was quite a mistake. She really underestimated Marco and really just misunderstood the type of person that her son is now. And mainly because she didn't want to see him that way. But I think she's finally, in that moment, coming to terms with it. And then we get Marco's speech, which I thought absolutely amazing. I've heard a lot of critics already talk about how this was a well-written speech. And it really, see, what I like about this is as despicable, and I do agree with Don in a lot of places about how despicable, of course, of what Marco did. He basically committed genocide and he killed millions and millions of people. But at the same time, when he talks about all the atrocities that the Inners committed against the belt, he's not wrong. Like we see, especially in the show, we see a lot of backstories that the Wayward Belters were, that their lives are tossed aside for in the name of making profits, and the Earth, like really, and Mars both kept their boot on the Belters and kept them poor, kept them struggling, starving in many cases, and many times just threw their lives away. I mean, not even talking about what Protogen did on Eris. So you kind of see Marco's perspective a little bit on this. And now, of course, he actually did do what Fred Johnson couldn't do. He made the belt the superpower of the system. He basically, in one bold move, took control of the solar system. And so I kind of see now that why most of the belt would start backing him instead of Fred Johnson, who, well, of course, is dead now, but his faction and Dawes. So yeah, it was actually a really bold move. Again, this is where the title of the episode gets its name from. But what a despicable mass murderer type figure. I mean, but I thought it was absolutely amazing TV. Anyway, Darrin, some of your thoughts on this?
I mean, I completely agree with all of the Naomi side of the story. Kind of walking into this just almost doe-eyed, not completely unaware of the reality of what she has gotten herself sort of into, and then the shock throughout of it and the horror afterwards. I think she did a great job bringing that up. I'm liking actually Philip here. There's a little bit of variation in with his character that I liked, being teased by his father and in a way trying to pose for his mom and yet still seeking approval. There's a lot that's kind of going on there, which is actually kind of makes him really interesting to me. Sadly, as I'll continue on my rant, more than Marco himself, who... it's tough because was it Ken Ahuda? Is that the name of the guy who I made my notes here? Who plays him? The guy's been working for ages. I mean, I am not trying to trounce his ability as an actor or anything like this. Unfortunately, I think and even though he's got a lot of well-written scenes and his speech was awesome, to me, he just comes off as kind of like GQ generic. He's just good-looking, evil, bad guy. There's nothing particularly unique about him. There's nothing particularly engaging. He's very good-looking. He's very posing. Even his Belter speech doesn't sound totally Belter to me. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where, and maybe I'm just spoiled because we've had so many amazing actors in so many of these shows that we've had a chance to walk. But like, what would Michael Emerson have done with this role? Linus from Lost. What would he have done with this? Or even David Strathern. How would he have approached this particular character? A mix of charm and menace and crazy in there, and kind of extremes or notes that I just don't see Ken bringing. And so while, yes, I hate what he's doing. And yes, you want to see him burn. And he's obviously overreaching, as a lot of people do. They're not searching for equality. They want to be the new people on top. And that's exactly what Marco is here. He's just like, you could be sovereign, but that ends at your atmosphere. You don't even get your own moon, suckers. Everything else is ours. The gateway is ours. The whole rest of the universe is ours. You have to be nice to us and do what we say. And again, it's that overreach. It's not we are strong, united, we are the belt. It is, we are your new lord and masters. And I think, and just from a character standpoint, to me, he's got to go down on that. But outside of that, what he's doing is menacing, and all of that is scary. But as a person himself, there's too many other great performances. He just sort of drifts into the background for me. I'm sorry.
So you answered the question I was going to ask you next, which is what you thought, because I know you spoke ill of Marco as a villain before, and I was going to ask what you thought, but you kind of answered that. I personally, I thought he was an amazing villain. Like, this sold me on Marco, like especially that ending speech. I think the actor is good enough. I had my doubts about him in season 4, and I think the way they played him in season 4 wasn't maybe the best, but I think this episode, especially that speech, that sold me on. I'm sold on the actor. I'm sold on Marco. I think he's a badass villain, and I can't wait to see more. But that's just me.
You know how I just like to be contrary, right?
Yeah,
it just spurns exciting conversation.
That it does. Anyway, Don.
I follow Marcos anyway because Marco has long flowing locks, and the girls like him, and he pretty, and he talk nice. So Marco, best of all belter of all time, belter. Fuck Marco Inaros and anybody who's down with him, man. All right, listen, that was some bullshit that he did. Period. Point blank. Look. He could have if he would have just attacked Tycho Station, took the proto-molecule, and said, hey, not only do I have the proto-molecule, I've also got other weapons that you cannot see coming. Period, point blank. Fuck with us, and we will, unleash havoc on you. I would have been fine with that. But no. You had to decide, I'm going to kill millions of people. I'm going to kill millions of people, and this is the way I'm going to have the belts get united. Are you with me? Is everyone with me in the plan of genocide? And the fact that, these, like, the belters were not horrified by this. They're like, yeah, we follow Marco Inaros, belters. Yeah, fuck you, belters, you fucking asshole.
What? Okay, wait, hold on. Just want to sort of clarify some things. Like, not everyone in the belt supported Marco to begin with. Like, he had his own faction, and Fred Johnson, others had his faction. But now, at this point in stage, I think a lot of the belters will support Marco just because they're scared of him. Because they're scared the same thing that happened to Fred Johnson is going to happen to them unless they bow their heads and follow him. Because
that was a total coup.
A lot of these other factions aren't as strong as Fred Johnson and wouldn't even be able to stand up. So if he can do that to Fred Johnson to fucking earth, like some of these other smaller belter factions, they would just be shaking their boots. Like, okay, we gotta listen to him. Like, we can't. Like, we saw earlier in the season, even Drummer decided not to go after him because she was too afraid of taking him on.
Well, okay. Look, we only saw the reactions of belters who supported him. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm look, I'm not down for genocide, no matter who does it. If Earth would have tried to wipe out, the OPA, I'd be pissed off at Avasarala. If it was somebody from Mars, I would be pissed off at the Martian Navy. So yeah, he's the asshole who did it, and so it's just you. Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, the one thing I have to say, I think Marco was right when he gave his speech about, if we had just hit one, we would have shocked them. If we had hit them with two, they would have had to respect our ability. We've hit them with three, and now that's going to stay. In a way, he does have to do that to make his statement in order to be in charge. He did everything he had to do. He had to take out his largest competitor, which would have been Fred Johnson. He had to hit the enemy, have a weapon that they don't have, and make a statement. I mean, and so he did the check marks beautifully. It's just, from the evil checklist.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you said, like his goal wasn't just to sort of, keep their part of the belt or whatever. His goal is to take over, to completely take over and push Earth and Mars back to their respective atmospheres.
Yeah, well, and have the belt control access to the whole rest of the galaxy, and the ring they are the new, representatives of humanity, and
it's important to note, by the belt you mean Marco, like he wants to personally be in control.
Yes, very much a kingdom and not a democracy or a republic or parliamentary system.
And a listener in the chat agreed with you, thought Marco was a bit generic, but I don't know, like all of this, I don't know, maybe I'm looking more at what he did than like the performance himself, but I just think when you add everything together, like I just think this is an amazing villain.
Well, yeah, I mean, but as I said, the writing is great, what he has done is great, and his performance as generic GQ villain is good. He's beautiful and he's menacing and he's doing his thing, and he has obviously a scripted show to back that up. My personal is just the take on is his choices as an actor of how to represent that character are very unspecial. I don't see any grabbing character tags. I mean, Sakai, there's certain tags and bit you grab with the character that kind of
she pissed me off.
Yes, but she pisses you off, and that's a thing.
Okay, now let me clarify. She's a get off my screen type of villain. There's a difference between the type of villain that you think is badass, like Ben from Lost or like Tywin Lannister, and then you have people like sort of Joffrey or like Kai Wen, where you're just like, get off my screen, I don't want to see you anymore. And that's what I think Sakai is.
Sure. For me with Marco, I forget that he's in the scene half the time. Right. So that's it. To me, it's like, okay, great or bad is there at least giant choices, boring in the middle. And again, that's just me.
Yes, Cardinal Doomsday says, I like Marco's ship being named Pella. That was a nice historical joke. What was the joke? I didn't get it. I guess I'm not well versed in history. As I said, the title of the episode went over my head. But anyway.
That's your homework for next week, folks. Look up Pella.
There we go. I heard something about in the books that Marco's fleet of ships were all named after characters from Atlas Shrugged, kind of hinting at his sort of libertarian views. I don't know. I am not sure if that's true, but that's just...
So he'll die on basic income then?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Ayn Rand slam.
But yeah, that's yeah, I think that's a lot of good points there. So any sort of more thoughts on this episode at all, or Marco and fighting over, or what's to come, or anything like that?
Well, like I had said, when the episode ended, I didn't like the whole weekly streaming bit. At the beginning of the season, I'm like, yeah, once a week we could talk about it. You get your little doses. It's not all over with. And definitely at the end of this episode, I was like, no, 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 no. I want to watch another one. Damn it. So, while I might complain about, my reception with Marco, I still want to see more of the story. I am still heavily engaged. I am, like I said, really excited to see, Amos's live action version of Kung Fu Master. Check out the game, folks. For the old people, you know what I'm talking about.
So Colonel Doomsday in the chat answers my question. That's the capital of Macedonia, where Alexander the Great was born, and that ties into the title of the episode. So that, I guess, that makes sense why they came up with the title of the episode. Yeah. So so that's all interesting. Anyway, Don, did you have any final thoughts on that?
Very riveting episode. Sad to see Fred Johnson go the way that he did. Nancy Gow, I can take her or leave her.
Good riddance, sir.
Alex, I mean, we'll see if she finally gets her spot back. Can't wait to see the Amos and Clarissa show. Bobby. And that other guy too. And what's Holden gonna do now? Because I mean, Holden is always stuck in the middle of some shit. He's got to find a way out of it. And honestly speaking, I'm not sure if I feel bad for Naomi or not.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Naomi seems to always get herself into these fucked up positions, and whenever someone's like, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing this alone." No, I've got it. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Oh shit, shite! I'm captured again. Like bloody hell, they've captured again. Like, yeah, you realize this happened to you last season too, right? Perhaps next time, you shouldn't go off on your own. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed the episode. Can't wait to see what happens next week.
That's the lesson of the season. Have a battle buddy.
But I will say, Darrin, actually, I kind of had a different reaction when I saw this episode. I kind of thought, it's a good thing I had to wait a week because I need time to sort of decompress after that episode, to take a breath, because that episode was just boom, boom, boom. It was just relentless, I think is a good word for it. And some people were saying, oh, these first 3 episodes are taking a long time to set it up, but maybe it's because I read the books. I was more willing to go with it because I know it's going to lead to the is leading into this, and you need to have that set up to get things going. Cool. All right. Don says, I agree with Don about Naomi, but she was involved in my favorite scene of the show where she walks on a planet for the very first time in season 4.
That was very cool. Oh, yeah, and Cardinal Doomsday does ask, he gets the impression that Marco wants to be Alexander the Great in space. Yeah, obviously, yeah, with the title name and naming his ship, that totally makes sense.
He's an arrogant ass. That's why I think he's a good villain. See, he's the type of villain that I think I want on my screen. I think he's the one that's good. The freaking Sakai is get off my screen. But anyway, that's just me.
Oh, she's definitely annoying by far, especially once you went off into Crazyville at the end. It was okay.
Bye. What you gonna do now? I'm just somebody shoot her.
I guess, yeah, no, Monica, I was expecting with Holden's look up at Monica, that Monica be like, all right, blam. It would have been bold for the show. It would have been bold for the show, but
I mean, that's again, you got to ask yourselves, what would Miller have done? And Miller most certainly would have blew her head off.
Oh yeah, there's well, No, see, you get her for information, and he would want that information. But yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. He did. Yeah, he did shoot the other guy just because he thought that it was the smartest, most efficient thing to do. So yeah,
I mean, we talking Miller or Proto Miller?
Real Miller.
real Miller.
Yeah. Proto Miller would just be like, "Oh, we got like, what about that ride, kid, or whatever." But anyway. All right, cool. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up this discussion. Thanks so much for joining. As always, it was great talking about this episode. Yeah. Don will be joining us again in 2 weeks, and Darrin will be back here again next week, hopefully. So, all good. So, Darrin and Don, if you want to just give a quick shout out what you guys are up to, Don, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, you can catch me with this guy every few weeks doing some sort of TV show. We just finished The Mandalorian this past weekend, and in a couple of weeks we will be back for season 1 of Agent Carter, and then followed swiftly by season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm going to get back to doing some more Game of Thrones content, preparing for Fire and Blood. So next time you see me here doing a Game of Thrones thing, you'll see some of my Game of Thrones paraphernalia in the background. Most likely, World of Ice and Fire and Blood, and some other stuff. But also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can catch me at Don Willi. That is DonWilli. And Sir Darrin, why don't you take it away?
Thanks so much, Don. Yeah. I'm Darrin. You can catch me over my channel, D's Reviews. We did just wrap up The Mandalorian, and we'll be doing our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season reviews every month, starting with Agent Carter season 1 in January, and moving on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 3 in February, and then switching as we move on forward there. So really excited about that. Nothing else really planned up in the future except being here every week with Mark talking about season 5 of The Expanse. Really, really excited about that. And just one last little comment from me. Really comments from both Cardinal Doomsday and Dan Palm, knowing what would Miller be saying? Watch those doors and corners. And he's exactly right. Take it away, Mark.
Cool. Yeah, no, thanks so much for joining. And yeah, do be sure to check these guys' channels out. And if you're finding me for the first time, my name is Mark. My channel is Enchantment of Eternity. So I will be back here, same bat time, same bat channel, talking about episode 5 of The Expanse, and doing my reviews for The Expanse, and also covering other shows like the aforementioned Discovery, which I didn't hate that episode that much, but I'll get into that tomorrow with my review, and other shows like Breaking Bad and The Outer Limits. So be sure to check out my channel for all of that, and thanks a lot for watching.
Doors